What's going on, guys, and big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta today. You're here with D-Boy, and we are back with the opening. So we have right here the starter deck 2, Danji Momoyama. His trial deck, which is the one who features Bruce. I'm ready for overdress. I have everything. I have the deck box, the sleeves, and I've already opened one because yesterday my friends were very excited and they really wanted to try it out. So I opened one and I put them in the Bruce sleeves, and yeah, the deck plays really nice. I've chose the Picaro sleeves for my right deck. Some people thought, well, why? Because I really feel like the colors are very beautiful together. But maybe in the future I will change them. As you can see, the playmat is the pink one because for some reason Danji loves pink. But yeah, let's go and open a starter deck for you guys. So the one from Danji, of course. So this is the trial deck. You see Bruce, and the shiny Bruce looks so much better than the not shiny Bruce. You can see the cards in here, the over trigger. You could check them out if you want to scan it in. Some information. We've also received a rule book, but it's not included in the trial deck. It's actually something that was included everything. If you can see right here, it's the Vanguard overdress information book, where you could read about the new overdress. You could read about the anime, you could read about the characters. This is a very nice character design right here. We see Bruce with Danji, we see everyone else, and it's really good that they also introduced or showed the nations right here, the clans, when they existed as normal clans to now the nations that they are. And the good thing about that is that if people started playing in overdress, they would think, oh, okay, it's pretty nice. We could actually go back and play the clans themselves, because they will also be interested. The new rarities, the VR is gone, and the other one actually got pumped up a little bit, and a little bit more about the right deck, everything else. So pretty cool right here. The upcoming booster set that will support it as well. So I'm also interested in which trial deck you guys are actually the most interested in, because for me it's definitely Bruce all the way, and I will definitely be only picking up Dark State. I was thinking maybe that I could pick up this as well because I really like the art, but on the other hand, Fira liked it a lot and she will do that. So for me, I would keep it at Dark State, and I will be building everything that you could build out of Dark State, but be focusing mostly on Spike or Final Rush. Alright, so we see right here that the trial deck actually has the two colors. It's a little bit less purple and more into the pink, if you see correctly, and they chose also for the light blue. Well, for me, I actually love the color blue, but the more less light, let's say, and also the color purple instead of the color pink. So they came very close to my favorite two colors, but just a little bit far. So for the trial decks, these, of course, trial deck or starter decks or introduction decks or whatever you want to call them, these of course are not that expensive. So they cost about €4 or $4. And for that reason, it would be very easy and very cheap for new players to start the game, but also players that already played Vanguard, that were a little bit skeptical about try overdress or not. Now they could actually just try it out. Why? Because there is just nothing to fear, because it's just easy, something that you could try, and it also doesn't cost you too much. And why do I say nothing to fear is because people tend to get very competitive, and with that, because these are actually very cheap, it should be okay. So we finally opened it up. It didn't want to work with me there, and I didn't want to damage the box. So we could check out what's inside. As I said, normally they will actually be more plastic in here. They chose to use less plastic and more paper or carton, which is actually pretty interesting. As you can see right here, this originally was plastic, but now they changed it to carton. And that's something that I don't know if they did that on purpose. I hope so. But of course, because paper and carton are easy to recycle and plastic is not. So it's good to have some ideas to think about the environment and everything. This is the playmat that they always add. And this is actually pretty interesting because right here you see all the triggers. So critical, draw, front, heal, and over trigger. And the first thing that people would think, huh? So we have front now for every nation, every clan. And of course we have the over trigger. And something else you also see is that they actually have added the order zone, which is also pretty cool because before they added the order zone, there was actually no place to put your order zone. You just like activate, but you just put it in a drop zone. But now you actually have an order zone, so you could put them there, you could activate them, but we also have kind of a continuous orders that stay there, like a field spell and other card games. That's also pretty cool. And now we have the actual trial deck itself. Right here we do see plastic, but a different kind of plastic, because this is something that you could recycle and not throw away. Well, normally it was actually like plastic that was wrapped, that you open it and you throw it away. So there are some small changes that Bushiroad is doing that is very smart and very good. I like that. And I also, these kind of things you could always put in your bag, and there comes times where you need them because you need to like pick up extra sleeves, or you need to give cards to a friend, and it's very easy to put them in here. So I actually always recycle these and don't throw it away. The first thing that you will throw away, of course, that is plastic, is this, because you will not be using that. All right, so right here we have actually the trial deck itself, the cards. So we have the 4 copies of Bruce. That's the first thing that we see. And you see right away there is a big difference between the shiny Bruce and the non-shiny Bruce. So that's one of the things why I picked up 4 trial decks of Bruce. It's actually the only thing I picked up. Some people saw the picture on Facebook and they thought everything was for me, but it's not. It's for me and friends. So don't get angry. So for me, I picked up 4 trial decks with Bruce because I wanted to have him shiny. And Bruce looks really good, especially the shiny one. The common one actually looks way less good, but yeah, that's kind of normal. So we'll just go through the cards and then come back and explain a little bit, talk a little bit about their skills. So first, the 4 Bruce, of course. Then we have the 4 Richard. This one is in common. We'll see in the future if we get this in full art or in SP version, because that would be cool, especially because these are the cards that we'll be using in your right deck until we get better ones. So the 4 Richard right here. Then we add in the Steve, also at 4, of course. So we have Bruce, we have Richard, and we have Steve. And the nice thing about that is that they are, of course, always Diablos, and they have a nickname. So this Bruce is Violence, Richard is Anger, which he doesn't look angry at all. This one looks angry. And Steve is Bad, and Matt is Innocent. So these are the 4 cards that you will be putting in your right deck. Alright, so after we got into these, now we have the other cards that we have in the trial deck. First one is, of course, so sad that this card only a common, because it's a badass card and it's really good. We have Colossus right here, the new Juggernaut, and this card is just really good and way better than people actually give it credit. So 4 of that, and then we have the card that is unnecessary to have in the deck, because again, just a 5k shield and a 10k power, which is kind of stupid because all the grade 2s have 5 on 10. So this is just a filler card. I accepted it to have a little bit more shield or a little bit more power or something in it that makes it interesting to play. Except the art, anything else is not worth playing. So 3 of this as a filler card, and then we have our big shield boy, Now this is actually a card that I do like. Brody right here, for 1 counter blast you get the power or shield, so it becomes a 10k, which could save you sometimes lots of shield or 2 cards that you could put in the Guardian Circle. And this deck doesn't actually use a lot of counter blasts yet, so you have only these 2 that uses counter blasts, and for that reason you have enough counter blasts to use for them. And then we have a very tricky card, and that is of course the Acrobat's Presenter. This is a card that could actually save you because it gives you enough soul, but could sometimes destroy you because the skill is not up to you to choose to activate. For that reason, this is one of the cards that could let you deck out, so you need to be very smart about using it. And then we have our Perfect Guard, art that I don't like at all. So this card will be replaced as soon as we have the other Grade 1 PG, of course. And yeah, it's just a Perfect Guard. There is nothing into it. Now we have, of course, our Overtrigger. If you don't know what the Overtrigger is, you could pause the video, read the text, or just listen to my fast explanation. So Overtrigger is a new trigger that you add in your deck. You could play the Cray Elemental one, or you could play the one that is in your nation, because every nation has, for now, an extra Overtrigger. The Overtrigger actually activates when you drive check it or damage check it, and depending on drive check or damage check, its skill could become different, or the extra skill that it had or the additional effect could become different. So every Overtrigger has its own additional effect. If you drive check this, then you will be getting the 1 million power, and you will also be activating its additional effect. So if you read it with me, you may only have 1 Overtrigger in your deck. Yes, no. Where revealed as a trigger, remove that card. So the first thing you do is if you reveal it in your damage check or drive check, you pretty much remove this card from play. Then you draw a card. So it acts as a heal if you damage check it. But if you drive check it, it doesn't go to your hand, but it does give you an extra card. You choose one of your units and it gets 1 million, or actually 100 million power. But yeah, above the 1 million, it doesn't really matter. So the only thing that could stop this is a Perfect Guard or another Overtrigger. So at the end of that turn, you get the power. And then if you have revealed it in your drive check, then you pretty much get the additional effect. The additional effect of this card that you give 1 more unit the 1 million power. So that's pretty cool. You have 2 units that have lots of power. And the fun thing about this card is that actually it acts as a heal and a draw if you damage check it, and it acts as a power and an extra effect if you drive check it, because it gets removed. If you have him in your hand because you drew into him, then he has lots of shield, which is cool, because if you have used this, let's say in premium, you just defend with it and it goes to the drop zone, you could actually put it back into your deck. If you have something that could put back cards from the drop zone to your deck, you could put it back, which is good. But if you have drive checked it off, or damage checked it, then it's gone, it's removed from game, you can't use it anymore. So you could get this skill off of Overtrigger only once in a game. Alright, then we have our crit. I really like this art a lot. The bazooka or rocket launcher, really cool. The hair colors, the dress, everything. The logo that you can see right there. And they also added that you now could read what the card does as in a critical trigger and explain it right there. That's also pretty cool for new players. Then we have the draws, also pretty okay arts. I really don't love boy triggers that much, but this one looks a lot like a Dudley one, and at least he has the color purple, right? And everything else is also pretty cool. And then we have a front trigger, and I find this front trigger really ugly. I've talked about this in other videos, and yeah, it's just sad. And we have our beautiful heal, which is Ariana. Alright, so that's for the normal units and the trigger units, and of course we also have Brothers Soul, as this is our order card. This order card is actually underwhelming. I expected it to do a little bit more, but it would not be a card that I will be playing a lot in my deck. I would definitely take it out. Why? Because it's just a -1, it's soul charge 2, but there are a lot of other cards that could do better. So this is definitely not a card that I will be playing in this deck. All right, so how will we build how will we build the deck? If we talk about the deck a little bit, first let's talk about a little bit of the skills. The triggers and the order cards are very simple. We have already explained the order card. We have talked about the PGs, which is a very simple skill. We also have already talked about Acrobat Presenter skill. So pretty much when this unit attacks or boosts, if your Vanguard is Diablo's Violence Bruce, so the big boy right here, if this is your Vanguard, then you may soul charge 1. But if you are in Final Rush, you may soul charge 1 more, which means he's a soul charge 2. This is a very tricky card, and you will get to the same conclusion when you test it, is that you need to be very, very, very smart about when to use it and when not. And then we have, of course, the card without the skill. I was very angry about this when they first revealed it, because I thought that why waste carton on something that you will never use? And the other thing is, why waste such a beautiful art on a card that you will be never be using? And then Brody, a pretty good card, explained it, count +1 for the extra shield if you intercept or just use it from your hands. Colossus right here is your big new boy. This boy is a powerhouse and he helps with soul charging. Pretty much when you place him, you always soul charge 1, which is good. But then if you are in Final Rush, you could choose to count +1 to give him the extra 15k power, which means that this attacks for 28 by itself and it attacks twice. But if you have already Persona ridden this turn, then this unit could be attacking for 38 by itself twice, which is just huge. Just huge. So then we come back and talk about, of course, the starter, which is Matt. If you go second, you draw a card. Very easy, very simple. There is no quick shield anymore. We have, of course, Steve and we have Richard. Steve and Richard work very well together, as you have first Steve, which you ride on. If you ride on this unit, you choose one card from your soul and you may call it to your back row center, which means just call it behind your Vanguard, which makes Matt a front runner. Then if you have done that, you just soul charge 1. So you pretty much gain extra soul, and if this card is just on your Vanguard circle, then it gets +5k if you're in Final Rush. So that's also pretty cool. Richard has the same second ability. If you're in Final Rush, it gets the extra 5k. So this becomes 15, this becomes 13, which means that they are as strong if you don't boost them, which is good because they hit just the right number for you to attack with them twice if you're going for Bruce ability. The first ability of Richard is, of course, the ability that you use when you ride into it, because these are the cards that will be in your ride deck. And right here, he has the ability that you put one of your Vanguards into your soul and draw a card. The Vanguard that you put into your soul mostly will be just the Matt, because you have called the Matt with Steve, and that's actually just a pretty easy combo. So this would be your ride, this comes out of your soul, you activate his ability to soul charge 1, and then next turn you ride on Richard, you put this into your soul and you draw a card, and with that you already have 3 cards in your soul. This becomes the 4th when you ride into Bruce, so you need only 1 card to activate the Bruce ability. And the Bruce ability is, of course, that if he is or you are in Final Rush, you may Soul Blast 5 to restand your front row, and that's actually pretty cool. So the first ability is at the start of your right phase, you are in Final Rush. And Final Rush doesn't do a lot by itself, but it enables your unit to activate their Final Rush abilities. And for now, the only card that gives us Final Rush is, of course, Bruce. So yeah, he is the main grade 3 of the deck and will be for some time. Then the second ability that we already explained, with this unit attacks, if you are in Final Rush, you Soul Blast 5 and you restand all of your front row Vanguards. So this is actually pretty cool and neat ability, because it gives you the multi-attacking option the way that Siegfried did it, so with restanding and not with recalling. Again, pretty cool. So that's actually it. There are some things that are also fun if you want to see, like you have of course the art continuous that you put right here. You could put Matt on this side. Steve on this side. You could Matt's way below here, and you could see that the art is continuing. You put the heal and a crit, and with that you see the full picture of everything together. Let me see. This comes on this side, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and the crit goes on the other side. So just like that, you see the full art of everything coming together. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, how will I build my deck? Well, pretty much if we're only talking about trial decks, there are some cards that I would like to add more of, and actually just the order card that I want to take out. And I would just open 4 trial decks to have the Bruce, and everything else I could give to friends or to new players. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in our channel. Thank you for supporting us. And if you are new to the channel, of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And I hope to see you in the next video as well. So till next time.